the car right now because we are on the way to meet a viewer who reached out to me very kindly because they live not super far away and they are moving and downsizing. So she was wondering if I would like any of her furniture and various things that she is selling and giving away. So yeah, we're just going on a little road trip. Gonna pick up a table and a very cute little Art Deco lamp, and also maybe some crafting supplies. I'm not sure. We'll see. That remains to be determined, but I will keep you updated. And in the meantime, I'm just going to enjoy some of this gorgeous fall foliage. Now, I don't usually film my meetups with other people, both out of a concern for their privacy, but also so that I can make sure that I stay in the moment and be present with them. But partway through, Leanne did tell me that I was welcome to take some shots, and so I did. And Leanne, I do hope you are enjoying seeing your house through my eyes. It was warm and welcoming and also very clearly the residence of some very crafty and creative people. Leanne is into junk journaling, which is a whole new craft for me, so it was really fun to learn about that and to see what sort of items get collected and squirreled away for that hobby compared to my own. Alright, we got some crookedness going on here. That's a bit better. Hello friends, good morning. I thought before we did any other work on the house today, why don't I sit down and go through all the really fun stuff that I got from Leanne yesterday, because I had so much fun getting to meet her and her husband and chatting, and I walked away with a lot of really cool things, and I was like, let's just go through them really quick. So, first of all, one of the main attractions, one of the main reasons that I went down to visit her was that she showed me that she had this very lovely little lamp, which she said she herself picked up, I think, at the dump, if I remember correctly. I just love it. So it has this little slot in here where you would have a piece of glass, and then that piece of glass would, you know, diffuse the light. It could be a colored piece of glass, it could be a regular piece of glass, whatever you want. So I don't know, let me know what shape you think the glass should be in here. There are tons of options. I'll probably have to get something cut custom for it, but yeah, I just thought she was super cute, really lovely little figurine. So that was the first thing that I went down there to pick up specifically. And the second thing was this really fun little table, which she told me she thinks it dates to roughly the 40s, but she's not sure. And I got it because I was like, it's got good bones, but it could use a little bit of a relooking, a makeover, if you will. So I got that thinking it would be the perfect project eventually down the road to do some painting with, and also because it very closely matches another table we have in the house, which I thought that was just like very fun. I saw that and I was like, you know what, we do have a shortage of tables in the house, so the price was right and it looked like it could be a very, very fun project. Also, look at how adorable she's being back there. Anyway, so then moving on, a couple other really just very fun practical items. Got one of these, tape measure. Very good timing because literally the day before Phil had gone to the hardware store to get something, brought our tape measure, and then lost it. Left it at the hardware store. So we were down one tape measure and then we picked up another one. Also, I'm really enjoying that this one has both inches and centimeters because originally the one that we had only inches, which is kind of annoying, honestly. Then a mostly full bucket, DAP glazing. That's gonna come in really handy. Also, there were some window points, which I don't have with me at the moment. And then I got to raid her crafting supply, her stash. So first of all, got some chalk. Always in the market for good marking chalk, and it's fun that they're not white. I have mainly white, so now I have colored chalk. I also got a bunch of this very fun blue ribbon. It's not showing up very well here, so I'll give you a little b-roll of it, but great color, and it's gonna be maybe very useful on some upholstering, potentially. That fainting couch that I swear I am getting to. Going through all the fabric that she has, which, oh, so much fun. She gave me this very fun bag for me to carry it all home in, so I'm just digging it out for you here. She had some, first of all, some very fun velvets. Again, the color here, I'll give you some b-roll shots, but very lovely Hobbit colors going on in the velvets. Was very excited about that. And then, yeah, I went through the quilting cottons and got some things that spoke to me, figuring that they could go nicely. Look at that lovely tartan pattern there. Figuring that they would go nicely on my patchwork that I am working on, which actually reminds me, quick little update. I won't take too long on it because I know you're not here for the crafting, but I have started my second panel in my Hexie quilt patchwork piecing. So these are all scraps from all of you. I don't think there's any of my own fabric. This is all fabric that you, the viewer, have mailed in. Plus now I got to work on this a little bit last night. So I have worked in some of Leanne's fabric in there, which was very fun. So if you watched my paper piecing video, or even if you watched my second channel video where I mentioned this, you'll know that this is going in a room divider. This is the Hobbit color hexagons are gonna make up one side of the 3-panel divider. And then I have some very fun plans for the other side, which we will see very shortly. And if you want a sneak peek of that, you can go on the second channel because I did show it there. Oh, is it itchy season? It is winter, which means it is itchy season. She is constantly scratching herself come winter. And we're working on some solutions for that. More on that later, but back to this. So yeah, I have 3 panels that I need to do. I have 1 panel completed, and this is the start of the second one. So yeah. Then I picked up a couple more fun feet. I guarantee you we will find a project to use these feet on. I just thought the shape was so fun and unique. So, or even honestly as a topper on something, I could actually see it maybe more as a topper than a foot, because to be honest, that is probably what it's meant for. It is very round. Anyway, 2 of those. She had a lot of really fun books, and I snagged this one, The Girl's Own Annual. There is a year in here. I just forget what it is. I'll give you some close-ups on it, but first of all, look at that stunning fashion plate, like the first thing I see. Absolutely amazing. But I just fell in love with all the images and the artwork in here. The spine says 1891. Judging by the fashion that I'm seeing in here, that does check out, but let's see if I can get you an actual date. October 3rd. 1891. So yeah, I'll throw some b-roll shots of some of the artwork in here, what's in here. Maybe we can go through it in more detail on my second channel at some point. Let me know if you're interested in that. But yeah, just thought it was super interesting, and I do have a lot of plans for like some fun art and stuff. I am sure that she had this for the purpose of junk journaling, but I would love to use some images like that stunning fashion plate to hang up in my house. I got a couple other art books here that I'm gonna have so much fun going through. Ta-da! And then we have one last item, but I'm gonna have to get up to go get it, so hold still. Ta-da! Just what I didn't need, another project. So when she told me that she had this vintage sewing box, I was like, oh, I don't really know if I need it. And then she said, but it needs work. And then I went, yes, give it to me. So I grabbed this as well. I mean, I've always loved these, but yes, as she said, it does need work. Everything is a little bit jammed up. You can see a lot of the hinges are detached and missing. All of the hardware is just floating around in here, which means it's probably making an awful racket as I talk to you. Needless to say, it needs a lot of TLC, and I was like, well, sign me right up, because I don't have enough projects to do, so what's one more? I don't know, we got a project, and I'm very excited about it. So Yeah, that was our big haul. More important than what we walked away with was just the fact that it was so lovely to meet Leanne and her husband. Thank you so much for reaching out to me. Lovely to meet you. This is like literally why I started YouTube, was just to make connections with people, and it is panning out. And while we're on the subject of people meeting their favorite online personalities, this is a perfect opportunity to tell you how I'm interacting with my own favorite personalities and experts, and that is through today's sponsor, Masterclass, the only platform where I can learn from Simone Biles, Gordon Ramsay, and LeVar Burton all in the same place. Masterclass offers online classes from recognized and well-known experts in their field. So whether you grew up listening to Reading Rainbow, or maybe you've been following Simone's gymnastics career lately, now you can learn directly from them. Phil and I have been Gordon Ramsay fans for many years now, and we've even tried our own hand at recreating some of his recipes, like this beef Wellington attempt. But with Masterclass, I can learn exactly how to cook some of his favorite recipes. His classes give precise amounts, step-by-step instructions, and some of his own personal tips and tricks. And it's not just cooking either. They have classes in many topics from interior design, music, writing, storytelling, and far more. Each lesson is packed with exclusive content and insights that you won't find anywhere else. And for just $10 a month billed annually, you can get your own cooking lessons from Gordon Ramsay. So check out Masterclass today and turn your aspirations into achievements. Click the link in the description to get started today for 15% off. A big thank you to Masterclass for sponsoring this video, and now on to the next segment. Going back up in my creepy attic, that's getting less creepy by the day. Ta-ta-ta-ta. Doesn't look like much, does it? Certainly doesn't look like 3 days of hard labor, but let me assure you it is. So last time we left it, we had finished this entire section, this section here, and from that door straight back, but we are still missing, as you can see, a big old chunk right in here, everything behind the chimney. And that's because we've got an extra fun little situation going on over here, and that is that we have air coming basically from the basement, can make its way up through the walls, behind chimneys, in a long convoluted path, and get out here. And that was causing a lot of condensation, which is not currently there today, but we were on this window because all that hot moist air is coming up through here. So because these cavities are quite deep, they go really far, we've been kind of having to add a layer of, well, we're using vapor barrier at the moment to kind of make a false floor for the insulation, because we're not filling up this entire cavity. My bank account cannot this entire cavity, plus it's entirely not necessary because a lot of this is indoor space. So we're just basically continuing this floor here across with the vapor barrier. That's acting as a fake floor. Then we're filling it in. We managed to do that with these two cavities before we called it quits last time. We were running out of energy and enthusiasm, but now we are back and we are ready to work. So yeah, picking up. Wow.
Phil the Explorer.
Phil the Explorer. So picking back up, we're hoping to finish this whole section here, and then we would officially be done with this entire section of the attic, which would be fantastic. And then yeah, we'll probably start moving all this stuff aside over here somewhere. It can join its fellow antique friends, and then we'll just continue working our way that way. Yo. Got a bit of an interesting and annoying situation Here we've got some power cables that come up and then go in the floorboards. Kind of annoying because we think it comes all the way from the basement, the fuse box. Yes, we're still on fuse boxes. Just added to the list of things to be changed. But the fuse box is basically straight down from here. So we think that that came, along with all the hot air from the basement, came up through the walls and is here and then just kind of fans out and then goes back down into to supply power to all the rooms underneath us here. That's Phil's theory. I think he's probably right. We're gonna have to probably give it the same treatment here. Make a false bottom with some plastic, and that's gonna make it annoying if we ever need to like do electrical work, but I don't really see a good way around it. So it is what it is. Trying to find some good light. Yeah. You gonna adjust? Oh my god, I have so much floof in my hair. Wow. So we almost finished this section here. I'm standing right next to the chimney. We are so close to being done, but we are missing still just a little bit. Unfortunately, we have run out of our bales of blown-in until I realized that we still have those two from the dump that Phil salvaged the other day. So let's go get them and see if that is enough to finish off this section here and call it a day. Well, call it a minute until we move on to the next section of the attic, but you know. Also, while I'm down in this room, that reminds me that I have something that I wanted to touch on. Had to mention the great lampshade debacle of a few videos prior. It was not actually a debacle, I completely exaggerate, and nobody was nasty or mean, but there were all sorts of feelings, let's say, in the comment section about the fact that I had to or decided to throw away that lampshade. And I do actually completely understand. Like, of all the things we have taken to the dump thus far, there were two things that I felt the little twinge of guilt about throwing away. It was that lampshade and also the very broken chair that went in immediately before it into the car. And that's because I do recognize that in another alternate, very similar parallel universe where I have more time and energy and not an entire house to renovate and fix up, those are actually salvageable. Like, they are not so far gone, they can't be salvaged. So I understand where you're coming from, and I also felt a little bit of that too. However, I have to, at some point, just be realistic about my time and my energy and the fact that I do have an entire house with so many rooms that I would like to get to, and also so many crafting projects that I also have on the list. So at some point I had to be like, you know what? Realistically speaking, I am probably not going to get to this project, which I have to say is something I'm pretty good at. I am pretty good about being realistic of what I am going to get to, what I am motivated by, like my time, my energy, all that sort of stuff. But if it will allay your concerns, let me share with you the fact that I have so many more lampshades in this house. I have a plethora, a cornucopia of lampshades in this house. A small selection, literally from just at my feet. This one, very basic shape, but a lot of fun touches here. This one, which is a much more unique shape, and you know, the wire's in good shape, but the fabric needs some love. This one, which is an even more fun shape and which somebody has already gone to the trouble to strip for me, so that's actually probably top on my list. Not to mention that I have 2 more in Montreal that are a very fun shape that I pulled off the side of the road. Somebody was throwing them away. Don't think I have footage here because I'm pretty sure I lost it when I lost my iPhone, so take my word for it. I have 3 more behind you that I just can't get to because there's so much stuff in the way. I have 2 more in the room on the other side of this and countless more in the attic. So there is no shortage of lampshades around here should I decide that I need to try my hand at refabricating one of them. And I would maybe eventually like to do like 1 or 2 in the future. Which means that if you happen to live in my area and you are a crafter and you are interested in some of my lampshades, don't be shy, feel free to reach out to me and I will let you know because I don't want these things to go to waste. At some point, like I can't just keep storing things in my house. There's so much stuff here, it is already hard to move around. It is a renovation zone, gotta get rid of it sometime. So that was the decision that I made. I am sticking by it. And while I don't feel like I need to justify myself to you, I thought some of you would appreciate and enjoy seeing where I'm coming from and also seeing the fun selection of lampshades that still remain in the house. So with that said, with that off my shoulders, let's get some insulation and get back up in the attic. Let's see if it's enough. Don't know why anyone would throw these away. They're still in perfectly good shape. It's not like blown-in technology has advanced in leaps and bounds over the years. It's paper. Do we have an R value on there? It would be funny to compare. Let's grind it up and get it in our floor. Okay, so I know somebody is going to be curious, so really quickly, I did compare the spec sheets from the older thrifted cellulose to the new store-bought ones, and sure enough, if you look at the applied thickness that we're using, which is roughly 12 to 14 inches depending on where in the attic we are, then the old cellulose has an R value of between 40 and 50. And if we look at the same exact 2 lines on the chart for the new insulation, then for basically the same exact applied thickness, we have the same R value, which makes sense because it is basically just shredded paper, right? Like the new one might have been treated to give it a bit more fire resistance, but they're both going to insulate our house just as effectively, which I thought was very neat. And also, yay for free insulation. Okay friends, fantastic news for everybody who asked me if I have an address or a PO box that they can send something to, because I have decided for a limited time only to open a PO box. So address is on screen. It will also be in the video description. It is only, and this is very important, going to be open from now through the end of December 2024. I will be closing it on the first week of January 2025. So please keep that in mind. If it arrives after that, they will just send it back to you and I will feel really bad, but I also will be unable to do anything about it. So if you've wanted to send me something, if you wanted to get in on the community patchwork project and send some fabric scraps, but you missed the first call, well, here 1 year later, we're doing a second round. Feel free to send me a small package, nothing too big because I did take only a very modest sized PO box, so no huge packages, and also nothing too heavy, please, because I do have to bring it across the border with me. So if you have something you want to send but you're wondering or worried if it's too heavy, please, I would much rather you just send me a message or an email. We can have a little conversation, and I just don't want anyone to send me something and then have it be too heavy for me to bring back across the border. So as much as I know that everyone out there is wanting to lob giant brand new power tools at me for the house project, unfortunately, I can't take them back across the border. That was today's bit of little housekeeping. I cannot wait to see what it is that you send me, those of you who wanted to. I do know there is some corgi themed paraphernalia in there. I also love fun socks and dark chocolate, but also please don't spend any money on me. I love old, leftover, used things, especially in a house as dirty as this. So, old linens. I'll take your old linens, send them my way. Send me your leftovers. You're tired, you're weary, one-handed gloves. If you've got right-handed gloves that you've lost the left one, send it to me because I will use it to throw sticks for Cannell all winter long. I blow through right-handed gloves like you wouldn't believe. Anyway, I'm rapidly losing the light somehow behind a massive cloud.